Welcome to Pardon My Hunch, the show about the real decisions that we make in business and in life, and the gut instincts we trust or sometimes wish we had not ignored. As always, this show is brought to you by the Vibe Method. That is a process that we use and that we teach to innovators and marketers to help them nail a unique customer story, aka a vibe, and prove it will sell before they ever build, scale, or launch anything. To find out more about how we can help you nail a unique vibe for your new product or marketing before you go live, you can go to gohunch.com. That's our sponsor. So let's get on with the show. On today's show, we have Ann Jones. Welcome, Ann.
Woohoo! Thanks for having me.
Yeah, woohoo. She is the founder of On the Team. And I know you describe yourself as a solopreneur who does all the things, but you have a lifelong expertise and journey in education, right? As an educator and on the team, at On the Team, you are a mentor and trainer of being mentoring, right? For female college athletes. Specifically right now, you're focusing at UNC, right?
Yep.
The University of North Carolina. We just had a lovely chat about the rivalry that is a thing.
It's a thing.
You moved to North Carolina and we're told you had to pick a team.
Got to pick.
It will be Duke or UNC. You have to pick. Wear the right hat when you're pitching your platform, which also, again, is developed a platform that I think is super, super cool, which is a training platform for mentors. So this idea that like what you've observed and what we've talked about, which I think obviously your focus is these women and college athletes, preparing them for life outside of, the sport that they're in,
Right.
and helping them bridge that gap. And, they're having a mentor and making it work for both sides. Like I leaned into that just from like my own experience in business, having mentors or mentoring and like, how do you make that work? And I remember you talking about, like expecting the mentee is going to come with questions and then they're coming expecting you to have questions. It's just like, it's like kind of
Right.
neat to have structure, right? And most of these programs unfortunately don't work, but they probably start with such good intention. And I love that you are out of doing and experiencing what works and genuinely like your passion for meaningful relationships, creating a training program so that you can help package up what you do with your teams, the teams that you support at
Right.
at the college with other schools, right? So this is
Yeah,
essentially
exactly.
like you're doing it, but you're also creating a program so you can train other people like you to, right? Create mentor
right on.
mentor
That's the
programs at
hope.
other schools. Yeah,
That's what I'm trying. Yeah.
I love that. I think the best. I don't know. I'm surrounded by a lot of people who are creating and inventing things that are services and products. It's what I do. I'm also, like you, a solopreneur. So I'm, constantly interfacing with other people who have creating their thing. And like the best things come from you doing it yourself, like, and you solving problems for that you encountered and that your own expertise, and you can turn that into something so that other people can replicate what you've learned. I think there's not just creating a platform just to sell it is what I'm saying. Cause I think
Exactly.
they think they have an idea and they'll just package up some AI and, I love
Right.
anyway, I love what you're doing. Obviously I'm
Thank
gushing
you.
about it. I'm a super fan of Anne.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Did I hit all the did I cover?
It's good. I can't wait to
up?
dive in. Yeah, no,
Okay.
but that's good. I really appreciate the intro.
Yeah. Oh, and P.S. Anne doesn't like to talk about this, but I'm going to plug the fact that, like, she didn't go to Harvard and has a doctorate in education. And like, she doesn't even talk about. She that told me all about how you were a farmer growing up, and I heard nothing
Sure,
about.
that's true. I was.
It's very impressive. I think it doesn't surprise me now that I know you that you have this amazing pedigree. All right. Okay. So. I love to open with a question.
I do.
It's all about instincts. I have a love-hate relationship with my own marketing research industry. Like I love data, but like we tend to, you have to have your instincts be front and center when you're in your work, in your business, in your life. Don't ignore them at least, right? And so
Absolutely.
this show is really all about like, okay, people who are doing things primarily in business, but some of these folks I've talked with, it's more of a career moment in their life. But like your business or career, either it could be you or I want to ask you about a moment. And I know you already know what I'm going to ask, but like whether it's you, your own experience, or maybe one of your athletes, that you have worked with, whichever. I'm curious about a time when like there was a decision, or something was happening in the business, and you had to make a call or a decision, or and you felt your instincts pulling you, or someone that you were mentoring maybe was going through this as well, and like what happened?
Yeah. Yeah, I was struck by something you said a minute ago. Talking, and this gave me hope, right? You said a lot of successful entrepreneurs have started with sort of a problem they're experiencing and then trying to solve that, because that's what happened for me. So I'm hopeful I'll be in that group that did that and it worked
You're
out.
going to be. You're going to be.
But I want to quickly tell the story about that, and then sort of pair that with that moment, right? That started getting me thinking about turning this into a business. But I'm going to go way back for a second, but I promise I'll move quickly. But
No, I love going way back.
as you mentioned, Teri, I did grow up outside of a small town in Nebraska, farm family, and I was an athlete. And part of that was because there were 93 kids in my graduating class, and so they kind of just needed us to do all the things because there just weren't that many of us. So
Oh.
yes, I played all the sports, but it was something that I loved, and got in the local paper a couple times.
Wow.
And I know, big deal. But I
Do you have a
really,
statue? Do you have a
I
statue?
no, we fell short of the statue. I did have a record on the high school
Nice.
track board for a while, but
Yeah.
that probably got broken. But anyway, that is to say, like, that was very much how I knew myself and how people knew me. And so I was recruited to run the 400 at Dartmouth College. And you know how it is, you show up on campus and you're a freshman and everybody's introducing themselves. And so I remember very clearly, if I was asked, I would say, "Hi, I'm Anne. I'm on the track team." All in one chunk.
Yeah.
And
This
that's
coming in
who
freshman year.
I'm on the track. That's who I was. And that identity piece continued. And boy, did I love that, right? I mean, I spent a lot of time on it. It was my peer group. I was finally starting to see improvement because the level of training that I was doing, I mean, in college, I was in spikes 5 days a week. I mean, again, in high school, my coach was my algebra teacher. So, this was like a different level
Yeah.
of training.
Yeah.
And true story.
Oh,
But anyway, unfortunately, I started pretty quickly having a lot of leg pain, which we looked into, tried to figure out, is it shin splints, blah, 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 and finally ended up with an endocrinologist at Dartmouth Mary Hitchcock. And they ran bone density scans and found out that I had 3 stress fractures. So I had been running on 3 fractures, which was causing the pain. My hormone levels were wildly out of whack, and they didn't really know why or what was happening or what to do about it. Now, I'm kind of an old person, so this was a lot of years ago, but I still think there's a lot of work to be done on women athletes in terms of research and health. But at the time, her name was Dr. Kyle Lant. I'll never forget her, right? And I remember sitting in that office halfway, Nebraska to New Hampshire. That's a long way. 19 years old by myself, when she said to me, "Well, here are your options. You can train in the pool and only be on the track for race days. You can run on fractures, or you can quit." And I literally, I mean, obviously I knew what the answer
You're
was.
by yourself.
Yeah. And I looked at her and I said, "You have to tell my coach." I mean, I still remember that moment saying, "You have to tell my coach." And she was so sweet. She actually wrote a letter on my behalf. Explain
Because you want to like coach now? Yeah.
I don't know. Like, honestly, Teri, like, and again, I'm sharing a story that if you're an athlete, you've had this moment, whether it's injury or graduation, but when you have to leave your sport. I just sat in that office and thought, I don't know who I am anymore.
Oh,
Like, I'm not Anne, I'm on the track team. I'm just Anne. And who's that? And it was very difficult. And there are so many athletes that go through this, and they'll say to you, it's not just having to quit the sport because, you're doing it 3 hours a day, 6 days a week. I mean, it isn't just that. It is who you are. Now, fast forward through my professional career and the things that I have been able to accomplish. And what I've realized looking back is that what has, I believe, in many ways, driven my success and the things that I've been able to accomplish are things like knowing leadership, knowing teamwork, knowing resilience, knowing accountability, and showing up for people. All things that I learned through being on sports teams, and all things that were in me at 19 years old when I sat in that doctor's office and thought I'd lost everything. I just didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
So the moment, in some ways, for me, the origins of On the Team were in that doctor's office when I had that feeling. But the inspiration to do something about it came much later in my life, when I started to realize there are a lot of other people that are feeling that way. There are other women athletes who are feeling that way. And I want them to see those strengths and learn how to communicate their value so that they can begin to leverage that and use that to think about not just their sports journey, which they've been tremendously successful at, but their career journey. And it was all gut. It was all instinct and intuition to do this. I felt like I needed to do it. I'll also say there were a couple other contextual pieces happening that I think are important to the story. One is I'd started a company with my husband about 10 years ago. And that company, we're so grateful, was growing to a point where, we built it together. Like, we were literally the ones like working with the students and all that. But as it grows, now you have employees and now you have sales targets. So all of a sudden, about 7 years in, we'd built it successfully enough that I was running the company. And I was kind of feeling this tug of like, ooh, I really love the early stage part of business. I love the building. I love the figuring it out. So that's happening, right? So I'm like, I think I want to step away. And my husband's leading the company, and it's this great team. And
What was the company? Was it some?
this company, this company's, the name of it was District C, and the program was called Teamship. And as of January 1st, that program was acquired by College Board. So it is now Teamship by College Board. And so the point I left, like, it was great and the team was great, and they've continued now to go on and will be scaling nationally with one of the most powerful and I think interesting leaders in the educational space in the country.
Congratulations on that. I didn't
So
know.
that was really
Luckiest.
exciting, but like this very honest moment with myself, right? Of like, I see where this is going, but like, I actually love the early stuff. So I started thinking maybe I'll do this thing for women athletes. Also, at the same time, you're starting to see the rise of what's happening in women's sports, right? So this was kind of the classic Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark in the basketball, like, it was really when things started to feel like it was heating up, and your Deloittes of the world were coming out and saying women's sports can be $1 billion industry. And I actually also remember, speaking of rivalries, we have some friends here that live near us, and I was always like, oh, let's go to a women's basketball game or something, and they're like, we don't really do women's sports. And then one day I bumped into them in the hall, and they said, oh my God, we watched the UNC Duke women's basketball game and it was awesome. I'm like, oh my God, okay, this is really happening, right? Like, this whole like rise of tide of women's is like, if they are saying like, wow,
you've got some converts, right?
Right,
All they have to do is experience it, right?
So and then honestly, like, that is what was happening for me. So it's kind of a collection of moments and almost like colliding at this right moment in time for me to say, like, this is the thing, this is the time, let's go. And also just being lucky enough to be in a position where I could take that kind of risk and do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that is
you're tapping back into this like the origin story I love. It's like, I didn't even know this story, but the moment of now what? Like, and I'm thinking of my stepson was a high level player, 2 sports in high school, and decided not to pursue the college route. Has several friends who have, but the whole decision making around that, and then there's an injury, or then all these. It's like, even if you are deciding not to do it, it's like this whole, like, it wrecked. You're just deciding. I spent all this time. My parents spent all this money. It's like it's just like, there's a lot going on with. Wow, you're great at this sport, and like, look at this. How that doesn't mean everything's easy. It's like, all things in life, like, things. There's a lot to it that is hard. The identity piece. That's like, wow, that's really emotional. Like, all of a sudden, you have an injury. Did you quit? I mean, did you quit? Yeah.
I did. Yeah. I mean, the thought I couldn't, the pain, I'm just running with fractures didn't seem smart and they didn't know how to fix it. And the thought of being in the pool all the time and never being with the team except to race
Yeah,
was
that
not
seems
the
like
experience I was
lame.
looking for. And it's not how you get better. I mean, I
And how are
knew
you
I would
gonna,
never,
you're gonna lose your edge if you're in the pool. I mean, I'm not a
yeah, you
runner, but
just
like,
can't do the kind of
yeah.
training that I would have wanted
Oh,
to do. I did. And, I just, and I see, and I've had the opportunity to get to know these women now just with the work that I'm doing. And I'm also just like it just, I'm so certain, like there's so much talent. They have so many gifts. They have so much to offer. And, you see them out there on the court or, on the mat or, whatever the event space is, and they're so confident, right? Like they're just like,
yeah.
come on, like, and you would never imagine in a million years that there's a part of them that feels vulnerable or scared or unsure. And when it comes to life after sport or even like the whole career stuff, right? People ask them about it all the time, right? I mean, it's not like they're any different than any other student. And what they feel is that they're way behind. They're like,
Mm.
oh gosh, all my friends, they get to do all these internships and like I can't because I'm
Wow.
training in the summer and I have practice after school and like all I've been able to, and so they're deeply anxious about it and what they feel is behind. And the message I want them to hear is you actually have more experience with some of the most important skills in life because of your sport. I want them to see that strength. I want them to be able to
Mhm.
communicate that strength. But I do also want them to start to lean into what other things am I interested in, right? And not just say
Yeah.
marketing. Great, what's marketing? I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Okay, right?
Sounds good.
And I also say to them, look, there will never be a time in your life when more people want to talk to you than when you are a Division I college athlete. So goodness, don't
No
waste
doubt.
that. I mean, right? Like
No
let's build
doubt.
the confidence. You have something to offer. Let's go out, let's meet people, let's explore, let's talk. And I think there's kind of another moment here actually that I'm thinking of, but like I really do think that at the end of the day, this is helping them learn how to lean into relationships
Hmm.
and not see them as transactional. Not lean into something because I want something from you, but to lean into something just like you and I are doing in this and their like because it's fun and I'm going
Yeah.
to learn from you and hopefully you're going to learn from me and it's this exchange of ideas and we both come out feeling more energized
Yeah.
like
I
that
feel
that's what
energized. Yeah.
that's the stuff of relationships, right? And that's what's going to propel them through their professional journey, their career journey. So a lot of it's just like helping them see that and then they're like, "Okay, I can do that." And that's so cool because then they start doing it, right? Then they're off and running. Like this isn't rocket science. Like a lot of it's just like having someone in your corner to say, here's a few pointers on how to navigate this journey. I'm here. Let's practice some things. Yeah, there's a, but like ultimately they're like, I can do this. And it's, I always say, like, I'm going to teach you to fish and they can do it and they can do it pretty quickly, which is really exciting.
I, I, you said something earlier, which led me to like this cliche that I always have said over and over and over, which is sports is life. Like
Yeah,
so much, there's so much in sports in general that you can take and apply to life that it's
totally.
just like, it's true. I mean, there's actually, I don't know, I think we might have talked about this last time. Darren Roberts, he's a lawyer, a motivational speaker. He was an NFL coach. But I haven't seen him on LinkedIn for a while. I'll have to send it to you, but he will take clips that are off a media clip. You take stuff from the media after the game, what's going on. It's up college and professional level. And it's like he'll take a clip and then he'll say, and his whole like hashtag is this is not about sports.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's awesome. And they always like
Yeah.
stay in the deep end. Like he has all these like sports sayings or like
Yep.
but anyway, he was making the comparison. And like when you were talking about like the girls and um what they gain from being an athlete and through sport and how directly transferable that is. And I would say to soft skills, the soft skills that
That's
I
right.
had a boss that we would talk all the time about, like, how do you spot that it factor? How do you
That's
spot
it.
someone's going to get it? They can think abstract. Yes, they don't have the skill yet, but they're good.
They'll learn
The
it.
people we all want to hire are the people that when you say something like, you just can't train that, and I feel like being sports provides like I think you have such an advantage because it's like in your DNA.
Yeah, they've been training on it since they were little.
And they don't
I mean,
realize that,
right?
I'm surrounded by kids in this age group now because of my own
Yeah.
kids and everything and all my friends' kids and so forth. And like everybody nowadays, like they think they have to have it all figured out because they might have a friend who knew they want to be a doctor from like, when they're young. And then it's like, well, I should know what I want to
Yep.
do. And it's like, oh my gosh, just your experiences will lead to the next experiences. But like, here's how to get the first experience. I just, like I said,
That's the
I feel like what
that's the
you
key.
offer as a mentor and as somebody who can train people to implement formal mentoring programs, like I think apply. I don't want to, I don't want to broaden what you're doing because that's like the worst
Yeah,
thing
but it's
when you're
true. But
launching
they need to
something.
understand that. No, it's true.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
it could
true.
apply once you get this rolling for the use case obviously that you're selling this platform. The training piece of what you do
Yep.
is for athletes, college athletes. I think there's so much to be borrowed from it for like how to mentor people on their career in general.
I mean, yeah, and that's kind of the message to the athletes too, right? Is look, what you have is valuable. It's valuable in the broader world. I mean, these are skills that are just straight valuable, right? Like we run a networking event, and I'm thinking of very first one I did, and there's an entrepreneur in the area that went, and he was so blown away by the athletes' stories, and it's exactly to your point. Like they're like they know the stuff, right? I want them on my team. That he actually added a checkbox on his job application. He's like, I want to know if people are athletes. So he left that session,
Wow.
yeah, and went back and like changed the applications for the people that they were going to hire. He's like, I want to know. And yeah, I mean, it's huge, and it's directly applicable, like to your point. I mean, that's kind of the message to them, is this stuff matters that you've been working on, and so don't discount that. But I think also, Terry, to your point, they do need additional experiences. Like if you're interested, if you're interested in PR, you do need to not just say like, I've been a top 25 program gymnastics, top athlete, whatever the case may be. Like, that's great. Like, let's not discount that value, but you do need to have some of those experiences that you described in PR.
Mm-hmm.
And I also just think, like, as you said, like, how do you help them get started? And I think that's the key. I'm thinking of, I love one of the gymnasts, came to me, and she was looking, she knows her schedule. So she had, this 5-week period, and she has lift. This is the schedule. Lift roughly from 7 to 8:30, gets some food, class from 9 to 11:30, may need to go in for treatment first. They do a lot of like health rehab, like massage work, or not necessarily injury related, but treatment. Grab some food, practice from 1 to 4, if not 4:30 or 5. But she's like, but I still have time to do some stuff. Like that's who these people are. So she was
Yeah.
working with me on like, how do I continue to get some experiences? So we got her set up with Fleet Feet Sports, which is actually a national franchise running store, but their
Yeah.
headquarters is here. And so she walked in and she introduced herself, and she set up the meeting, and she had a whole conversation with them. And by the time she left, she's like, I had a couple ideas for them, and she said, I just am so excited to add value.
Can I hire her
Exactly. I mean, like
for
this,
anything?
exactly. And she's like, they're open weekends and nights, so I can fit it into my schedule. So like, this is her going after it. This is hopefully me helping her see this is possible. How do you navigate the situation, and teaching her to fish? And then
Yeah.
she goes out, throws a line in the water, and gets the gig. Like, it's so amazing. And I know like that's going to be a great experience for her. But the piece to how can I add value? I mean, again, at the end of the day, she's starting to build a relationship with this woman, found out her daughter loves gymnastics. And it's like, not just what can you do for me? Will you give me a shadow? Will you give me an internship? No, like she said, I want to help you. And I
Right.
think if I can do anything as a coach or a mentor, it's to help them understand that is the secret to this, right? Like all of us are navigating our career journey and our professional journey our whole lives. It doesn't
Oh, yeah.
stop, right? It doesn't stop just because you get your first job. Like this is a lifelong skill set. And I really do think at the heart of it, like that is, it's about relationships, but this kind of relational, two-way value.
Well, I mean, the genuine desire to like come in, first of all, with ideas and thoughts, even if they're not feasible. It's like, oh, you could try this or why not try that? I want to see how I could help you. And that, like,
It's
you
huge.
cannot teach that, it's
I know.
like somebody to recognize that when they're coming in and possibly getting a job, like that is a big deal. Somebody hiring anyone is taking on a lot of risk when they bring someone in.
That's
Uh,
right.
and especially like if you're applying somewhere and you're talking to like maybe the business owner or somebody who has, or like there's like real, or there's like in my world, I bring somebody in and they're gaining all of my 30 years of stories and what I've created, and they could go take that what they learn and go right to somewhere else. So it's like there's a lot, and then the time and that they
100%.
spend on training you. I mean, like kind of, I don't know. I think remembering, what what's in it for them and what, this isn't just they need somebody to do this task and they're lucky that you're willing to be paid to do it,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know maybe what I'm trying to say other than I love the like reciprocity kind of piece that I don't know,
Exactly.
there's like what's in it for them, like going in, thinking about how you could help
Yeah.
them. I also want like I'm no professional mentor by any means, but like the one thing I have said to my own kids and to other, kids, like people that have interned for me that are looking for their long-term gigs and stuff like that, don't wait for a job posting.
Yep.
Do not wait for a job. Do not feel like you have to hit all the bullets if there is a job posting. And that means if there's a bullet you don't meet, you shouldn't apply. Don't feel like, start looking at what people are doing on LinkedIn it's still, yeah, it's cluttered with a bunch of stuff nowadays, but it still has this value. Like you can like look at people that are doing cool things. And if you're drawn to what they're doing, think about what you're drawn to and just ask them for, I mean, I
100%.
have a story where I ended up hiring someone, like a couple years later after she was a senior in college. Somebody had referred her to like reach out to me and ask for, chat about the industry. She was kind of interested in our industry.
Yeah.
And we didn't have anything at that time, but when we did, I remembered her
That's,
because I'm like, you took the initiative. This person
yeah.
took the initiative, clearly has genuine interest. And those two things I can't teach. So, there are people that are I want that. I want that in someone more than I want, having had 2 years of doing the actual work.
Yeah, that's right. Could you clip that and send that to me after? I mean, this
Sure.
this is exactly it. And they
Oh, the
don't
part. Yeah, I hired her 2 years later. Yes, I will clip that and
clip
send
that
that
for
and
me.
play it for them.
But they don't, we talk about, learning how to play the game. This is how you play the game. They don't know this. Like they really think the way you're supposed to do this is, and we need to kind of own this as adults in society in their life. But like, I'll tell another quick story. So because this illustrates the point. So I meet an athlete, volleyball player, graduated from UNC, great grades, goes on to do a master's in marketing comms, great grades, comes out, and I meet her 3 months after graduation, and she is struggling. And she said, I don't know what I did wrong. Um, Great college, great grades, D1 volleyball player, master's degree. She said, I stopped counting at 200 jobs when I applied, and I didn't even get a first round interview.
Oh my God, what a wear down.
I mean, just like totally lost her confidence. Like, and
Deflated,
just like,
yeah.
I don't know, what did I do wrong? I played the game,
Yeah.
right? I got the grades. I went to the college. I was an athlete. Like everybody told me, like, this is what you should be doing. And if you do that, you will be given this thing. And that is not happening. That is how they think the game is supposed to be played. So when it doesn't work out, not only are they confused, but they're crushed.
Mm.
So what we did was we learned a different game, and we learned the game you're describing. This is about building relationships. This is about focusing on what you want and going into that, like groove that lane, right? Learn as much as you can, talk to people, not to ask for a job, to ask to learn, to ask to help out, to ask to be a part of something because you love it. And it's a long game. I get that, right? But they don't know that. And what's neat is when they hear there's another way, they're honestly kind of relieved. And they're like, oh, that sounds way better than what I've been doing. They're just applying on Indeed and LinkedIn. They're just easy apply, easy apply.
Yeah,
Easy
yeah,
apply.
I
I was
know.
like,
And
there's
like
no
all the
way for
kids,
you to
they're all
stand
doing
out.
this, and they're
They
all
don't know
saying,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But what you just said, like you see them, you're like, wow, I'm impressed. Wow, great questions. Wow, they really genuinely care about this. For fast forward, I'm going to see what they're up to. That's how this works. I mean, that's why, again, like you got to think long-term journey, build those relationships, and the opportunities will be there. But if you think of this as a transactional game, it's very difficult. It's very difficult.
I actually, she was on a podcast. I spoke to another she's awesome. So another one. I want to connect the two of you now, just hearing you telling the story about this athlete and all, I'm thinking of her now playing a different game and reaching out to people. Just, I want to learn but more about what this is about, what you do, even if there's not a role. And then I'm thinking about this conversation I had with someone else who she was led the legal department for Starbucks and basically built their legal department. And
Wow.
she talked about how she would interview every person. Didn't matter if it was a clerk, admin, what level they were coming in. She would interview every single person because, like, ultimately what she was saying is like, I need to listen. I ask a question and I listen. And she's sensing out. She ultimately knows kind of what she's looking for when she hears it. Right?
Sure.
There are also very specific things she wanted to hear, but like she's
Sure.
just the value of if you're the one bringing someone in and you're the kind of person who wants somebody to love what they do.
Yep.
Then ultimately you're going to want to talk to somebody, even if you're 17 levels up here and they're coming in very junior. I know in these huge organizations, like not everybody's going to get, not every senior person has time to talk to everybody that comes in the organization. But I'm telling you, like, if somebody is taking the time and has genuine interest, like in what they're reaching out about. So like they go like, God, this person, like they just posted, they're doing this. Look at what their company does. I don't know where I'd fit, but like, I know I love what they're doing and I feel like I could do some of these things. And then you send a little note to that person, no matter how senior they are, and they get it. I'm telling you, regardless of role, regardless of going around what HR is doing, if that person is likely to, like, they're going to notice.
It'll show through.
That type of genuine.
I agree.
Hey, do you mind if I talk to you? And it's even more helpful, honestly, when you have a referral, it can help too, right? Like, I don't know, I would say it's more helpful, but I've had, hey, my dad, knows you from here. And but when it's more about like their interest, and you could tell when someone has like a genuine interest and they don't have to like be all studied up. I would tell they don't have to be studied up on.
You don't have to know everything
all about. That would be fake anyway. You can't intimately know from what you read online, enough to like it's not about impressing. It's about showing genuine curiosity.
This is true of entrepreneurs too. And I think this is a human default, but the instinct is to go broad, right? The instinct is if I need a job, right? Yeah, exactly. Like I'll do, and literally like when this young woman came to me and had stopped at 200, what she said to me was, I'll do anything. And I can almost hear her saying that in an interview. And I thought, we've got to flip this entirely, right? Like, and they think like, I get it, right? It's like, I don't want to close any doors. Entrepreneurs do this too. You start your business and you're so scared that you're testing 100 experiments and like what the right thing to do is focus, right? Some of it's instinct, some of it's data, but like you've got to focus and be great. And you've got to have the courage to take the risk and do that so that you can show up the way you're describing, where, it's to say like, I'm just connecting a young woman on the fencing team with I forget his exact title, but he's sort of the chief data guy for the Professional Women's Hockey League, for the PWHL. And she's really interested in data and has been like starting conversations and trying things and trying to get involved. And like, that's going to show through. And she's getting really focused, not just on sports, not just on data, and not just on a certain type of like sports and data. She's interested in data that's driving business insights and decision-making in sports. I mean, that's pretty good for a freshman. And that level of focus is going to really serve her so that when she has a conversation, Chris is going to see that and he's going to be like, yeah, let's dive in. And then she talks to him and she learns more. And then he connects her with somebody else and then she learns more and then you learn more. I mean, this is how you begin to do it. Now, at some point she may decide I'm actually not interested in that and change tracks. That's totally fine. That's also part of this. But they really, so many people have the instinct of go broad, I'll do anything. And and apply online. And that's the winning strategy. And it's just not. Like, I don't know where they're getting that, but it's so common. So
you're preaching to my choir back here.
Yeah,
like,
tell them.
I don't remember if we were talking about this, like studying take it as well, like product launches or launches of marketing campaigns. Like the number one reason is
Yep.
they fail or fizzle is
Mm-hmm.
because of broadness, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
being too broad because it is now having my own company. I have more
You
empathy
feel it.
than ever. It is hard to resist, like in a marketing or product world. It's like, oh, but what then I'm not going to reach these people. I'm only going to focus
That's
too
right.
narrow. And what and it's hard to pick. And most of the frameworks out there for trying to help you get your product market fit and all the things start with the
Gotta
product. Like
focus.
jobs to be done, it's starting with the product. Like it's not really getting to the heart of which problem you love to solve the most. It's like that easy to do. But
So
once you
hard.
nail it, once you kind of nail your plan, in her case, maybe in her case, like the data, like you said, she might change. Her focus was that I'm interested in this data world.
Mm-hmm.
A focus for somebody who may not know what they want to do might be deciding like the kind of people that and the things that they're doing that it just are interest. This is what we do in research. Like you'll know what you're looking for once you start seeing the
When you
patterns,
see
right? So
it.
just start reaching out, and then somebody like you can help her help her. Could be a him, but with you working with females,
Yeah, yeah.
like connect the dots, right? Like it's interesting that. Tell me about the like few people that stood out to you that you want to reach out to, and then you're like, well, what's interesting is what I
Yep.
see are these three things, and pattern connection is something that you get better and better over, right? Like
Yeah.
you can only be so good at that without experiences, right? Like,
To your
that's where
earlier point.
instincts come in and like you help them, right? Like
Yes.
accelerate that. I love it.
Yeah, let's get the ball rolling. Let's get some experiences. Their confidence grows quickly. And it's funny, like, from their perspective, I'll like be like, well, okay, like, like you said, here's 3 LinkedIn profiles, anybody you want to talk to. How about that person? And they're like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. I've never done this before. I'm like, what? Talk to a person? Like, what do you mean? But like in their minds, they're like, I've never done this, right? And it's really scary. But once they do it, they're like, oh, well, that wasn't so bad. I can do
Yeah.
this.
It's like, and I still go through it. I mean, I've like been speaking, selling to people, all the things my whole career. And I still get like, there's somebody I want to reach out to now because of what their company is doing. And I want to actually use it as a case study. There's literally no obligation for them. They're going to get a bunch of free intel. I'm going to talk their brand up. Why in the hell would I be nervous about sending a connection
Because you
request to
care.
this guy? Because he's a CEO of some company. I'm like, since when do CEOs? I'm like, talk to CEOs all the time. But like, it is human nature, right? So like,
It is human
once you
nature.
do it once,
It's going to be better. And there's good nerves, right? There's good nervous. I do believe in that.
yeah.
Being a little amped, being a little ready, keep it real. But like, yeah, but yeah, it's so doable and it's so worth it. But yeah, it's the most rewarding thing. I think somebody said to me once, they said, if you look at my sort of through line for, I started out as a middle school science teacher. Um, and they said, the through line for you is you love lifting up the voices of people that aren't always heard. And I really do. And I feel like for these women that I'm getting a chance to work with, again, they don't even, it doesn't even occur to them that they have anything of value to say outside of their court where they feel
Yeah.
at the top of their game.
Right.
So they almost experience this in greater relief than most of us because most of us never reach that level of elite. I
Yeah.
mean, these teams were ranked that I'm working with are ranked 19th and 20th in the country. I mean, like,
The
if we're
best.
building a
Yeah.
scale, like I ended up somewhere here. So like going back or doing something new or doing something,
Yeah.
that it's not, but for them, it's a big deal. But man, can we get them there quickly? I'm
Wow.
just excited to work with other, people that are seeing this and say, I want to learn how to do this. Like,
Yeah,
right.
and I
Like
think
as you mentioned.
yes,
Yeah.
feel your passion, and then we all want a process. And we all
Yes.
want like some structure. So like you
Yes.
handing them, here's tips of what's worked. Here's the structure of how I set up a mentoring program. I think, like I said, I feel like this could be of amazing value to organizations, to just for people who are mentoring young people, like interns, co-op
Yeah.
programs, even
I hope
outside of
so.
athletes. I love the athlete
Hope so.
piece because of just that dynamic. And of course, as we just talked, focus. You should say, I don't want to sound like I'm trying to get you to
No.
go broad too quickly, but I just think if there's so much value in it. When you talked about the volleyball player who she was a volleyball player who sent out the 200 applications and was like,
I
I've got
stopped counting.
nothing. Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing this a lot from kids all the time, right? Like, especially like my nephew's in computer science, and of
Yeah.
course, like this
Oh,
was hot 5 years ago, and now
it's
you know
hard. Mm-hmm.
Right. And the thing that went through my mind was a very like age old like cliche, which is, oh my gosh, quantity over quality.
Yeah, that's
Like
right.
it's like this, you just cast a wide net, and where focus is going to be better. Sometimes it's hard to know what the focus is, though. So you have to like figure out
They,
the focus.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
you're fishing. You teach them how to fish, but I'm going to teach you how to fish, fish, focus fishing. If you don't know what that means, I'm going to help you figure
Yeah.
out what your focus is. You
And
know?
that's where, for some people, that's where it starts, right? And it's not uncommon if I say to an athlete, like, well, just not tell me what job you want. Just what do you enjoy? What do you like? Volleyball? I mean, like that's so much of what they've been doing and spending their time, and they love it. So that is where learning to fish has to start. I mean, if they don't have a sense of that, but there's a way to begin to explore and uncover that. And you've described some of those things, right? Just go out and talk to people. Follow your energy, right? Follow your instincts, follow your hunches. What's lighting you up? What's making you feel like that'd be a cool second conversation, right? Like it's,
Yeah.
I really coach them on listen to their gut, honestly, because when you're trying to figure out those early of like which direction, when you feel like it could be anything, you just got to pick and you got to try it.
Yeah, exactly. Where do you perk up? And I will say like something, I don't know if this is part of your, I want to call it like your curriculum or your process that you may include for teaching other mentors, but I'm kind of thinking now about like when we interview, we get reactions from possible users for new products, ideas and so forth. And um, sometimes asking a direct question, even that it should be easy, like what gets you excited? Like
Yeah.
they like might sit there. I'm like, okay, because this happened with my stepson. He's like, well,
Yep.
for what? I mean, tell me like what parts of the job, like, can you say of what it was like a past job, and then what do you want to do next? Like that's what we were talking about. What parts of it, you know, were things that you like you kind of felt yourself liking, other ones you were just like, oh, about it.
Mm-hmm.
And even that was kind of hard
Mm-hmm.
to answer. I'm like, okay, never mind. Just tell me about like what all did you do this week? And I swear to you, once he started just talking about it, I could see where he was perking up.
Yeah, totally.
Sometimes
And
they
but
can't.
even
It's
that
interesting. It's
question,
hard to answer questions that should be easy sometimes.
but not if nobody has prompted that for you, right? Like you're teaching him to fish. Like part of having a sense is like being like, oh, what do I like? Because you should pay attention to that. But
Hmm.
that's a habit, right? That's a habit you can develop. It's a muscle that you can build. And the fact that they don't know, or that you're sometimes like, I'm not sure what I like that's great. Like let's meet them where they are. And then let's start helping them pay more attention to that and just be like
Yeah.
open to those signals. I mean, that's a gift.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
right?
signal spotting, right? Like they
Yeah.
sometimes don't even know they don't realize it until you point out, and then they're like,
Hmm.
oh, okay. It's like
Hmm.
connecting the first couple dots, I feel like helps. Then they can start connecting more dots.
It's true. I mean, this is what's hopeful. Like the ball will start rolling downhill, but like they really they really do need a little bit of a point in the right direction. And I, I think I also, this is sort of like bringing relationships in a different way, but in the way I think like connecting with relationships is the way to like navigate your career journey. I also think these early dot connections you're describing, I really do believe are best served also through relationships. And that isn't to say that I don't use AI tools. I do.
Yeah.
That isn't to say that I don't believe that videos or async or all that is valuable. I do, but I am finding this is emotional.
Yeah.
And I think it's, some may argue, well, yeah, but then it's going to be safer to do with an AI bot or something along those lines. I'm like, maybe, but I'm not sure they'll go there without that person in their life, right? That's sort of patiently and you mentioned for the mentors, I bring the structure. I also bring a training for the mentors because not every mentor would approach the situation in this way. I do think sometimes the word mentor evokes, I need
Yeah.
to tell them,
Oh, yeah. That's
right?
what you're gonna say. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell them what they should do, and I'm going to tell them what
Yeah.
I did, and they should do what I did. And like, it is sort of like expert,
Hmm.
non-expert
Yeah.
dynamic. And
Yeah.
that is typically why these things fail because that's not what's going to help the athletes grow. We've got to learn to meet them where they're at, recognize and celebrate their strengths, and help them get next level. Not A to Z, but A to B. And that's what coaches do. That's what mentors do. And I've also, that's what the training is helping us as the mentors in that conversation learn. because they've got to start owning this. And it's just like you did. So what was it at your job? I don't know. But then you just start watching and you see things and maybe just say, what about your week?
Yeah.
Like that was you
Yeah.
meeting him where he's at and then helping him get to the next step. Like that's what I
Totally.
try to coach the mentors on.
Yeah. I love that.
Just telling him like, oh, you should go out and do this. Like it doesn't work that way. Like they need to sort of, there's a reason why they're not taking the step, and trying to figure that out and helping them get that step. It's all people work. But they do, once they start getting it, you see it, oh, it starts to click. They start to get the confidence. One of the, back to the fencer I talked to earlier today, she said, oh yeah, well, I'm back home for the summer. And I know there was this woman at my fencing club back home, and like I knew that she worked for Deloitte. So I just went over to the fencing club and I told her that I was back for the summer, and I was telling her what I want to do. And she was giving me all these great ideas about Deloitte and this leadership program they have. And so we're going to talk again and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're fishing.
Yeah. You're
right.
fishing.
Like, and I didn't tell her to do that. Like, she's just like, she gets it. Like, she's understanding now how this works. And I was like, get it.
Yeah. Just go up to them. Like, oh,
go
yeah,
get it.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe if your gut is telling you, well, maybe, then like the worst you can do is not ask. Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of cliches I'm thinking of today, but like the whole,
they're appropriate though.
you're not going to get what you don't ask for, right? Like the assumption that things are just going to show up for you, like,
no, you got to go get it.
What's the worst thing someone could say is no. Yeah. And the other, one other thing that comes to mind too, and again, I'm like in the throes of this with all the kids around me this age, is if they don't hear back. In particular, like my stepdaughter, it was like a new job. She's still young, so she's in her first job, now kind of like applying to other roles in the same company, and you're not hearing back and like reading a lot into that. And that's human nature. I'm like, we all do this, but like keep in mind all of the things that this person has going on. And
that's right.
Probably like you're 100% focused on her response to you in your situation. And that's one of maybe thousands of things that she has going on. And typically, and I told her, I was like, I go through this as like having to sell what I do. And I've, for most of my career, like consult and execute this work, but like I have to sell it too. So like you get caught up when you send something cool to someone, or even like somebody seems like a hot lead and you don't hear back and you get like, oh no,
it's the worst.
They don't like me. I'm like, for all you know, they're out of the office all of a sudden because they've had a family emergency, or like things like there's 9 times out of 10, there's some other reason. And it may be as simple as they just got buried in their email. They just got buried in their email, so just send another one, right?
Yeah.
Like it probably just, they meant to write back, they forgot, like it's not likely personal.
Yeah. Oh gosh, no. This is a good example though to like, so I'll take that even one step further. Like that's, I think 100% the right message. And then I'll add layer on top of that. Like again, what is phishing? What do I do? What is phishing in that circumstance? So I'll share with them, like, here's one strategy. And I use this myself, right? Because I'm speaking to myself. This isn't personal, but I still am not sure like when to follow up or how much. So I was like, I'm going to give you a set convention for how to do this. Initial email goes out, 5 business days, a second email goes out. Then I'm going to start ramping it up and be a little bit more aggressive. I've given them a little time. Now I'm going to go 3 days and I give a second reminder, and I'm going to wait 3 more days. And I'm going to send what's called, somebody told me about this, I love this, called the breakup email. And of course that always gets their attention. They're like, ooh, the breakup email, I love it. I said, that's the last time. And you're going to say to them, I wanted to reach out to you one last time. And this woman was right that told me this, like a lot of times that's the one that gets people. But if they don't, then that gives you permission to put them in your backlog. And maybe every 3 months or every 6 months, you sort of go through that list, but to stop worrying about it. So it gives them like this very specific like thing to do. So they send that out. They're like, and you can track it, keep your Google sheet, right? So I've sent it. I need to send my first follow-up, my second follow-up, my breakup email. And then I know what happens. And then I can either pursue it or I can put it on that. But like, if we teach them how to fish, they'll know how to do that. And they can, but I also am teaching the rationale, right? So they're like, well,
don't just tell me a process to memorize. Like tell me, like it's going to stick more if I understand why. it works,
Yeah.
right?
So they may be like, I'll wait 2 weeks, or I have 3 days feels too aggressive or whatever. But like they know, like I'm intentionally trying to be aggressive, because if you spread it out too much, people forget. So sometimes you've got to bunch the reminders a little tighter so that it triggers action. But like that's the kind of stuff exactly like, and then they can just go do it.
Well, and like you said, your classic sales funnel, right? Like your sales series, your
Right.
email after you get a lead. There's a whole science behind why you have to stay consistent and not feel like you're being too. You don't want to be spammy because
Totally.
they have so much going on,
Yep.
and things are changing rapidly, and you just
Yep.
want to stay. It's consistent, like what you described to me. Like, again, here we go with the stay focused
Well,
in, but there is like a broader implication. Sorry, there is,
yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
having consistency
Yep.
and messaging. Like that was a really good, that's like some strategery on that last,
Hmm.
like whoever, I want to clip this part. I'm going
She
to
was in
so hard
sales.
because so many people in my world are selling, right? And like marketing obviously is, the connected to sales, but like for like, once you have, like if your email, especially people who are using email, right, for in their process for selling,
Yep.
or if you're applying for a job, either one, they're both selling, right? So it's
Yep.
like the
Totally.
email funnel, the series,
Yep.
that like the breakup is, that's like gold.
Yeah. And you track it. And also we'll
And then you
talk,
put it away. I love that
like
you could put it away. You have permission to put
that's
it
the
away
key,
for a while.
right? Like don't take it personally. Here's how you manage this. And then just like but you got to get it out of
Yeah.
your mind, because otherwise you'll keep worrying about it or keep spending time thinking about what to do with it. Don't do anything with it. Like they're not ready for whatever reason. And so just come back to it later. Like, and even to your point about like getting really concrete on the language, even for, the first
Yeah.
reminder, the second reminder, little tricks like, start following their LinkedIn feed. And if they post something, mention that in the email. Hey, just wanted to reach back out. I know I sent an email a week ago, saw this awesome article, just wanted to say, like, loved it, really enjoyed it, gave it a thumbs up. Like, that's a
Yeah.
very gentle way to say, like, please get back to me. But they don't know some of these little tricks, but once by the way, if you like their post on LinkedIn, you show up in their notifications, which also triggers like, oh, maybe I should. I mean, so like, this is
Yeah.
what I mean when I say like, learn how to
Oh
play the
shoot, I
game.
got to follow up with that kid.
Exactly,
Exactly.
exactly.
Like I'm just, not that I don't want to. And by the way, oh yeah, no, I better do that before they go get still swiped up at some other job. Because those people are busy, that are in the hiring shoes.
100%. But yeah, it's the perfect example of like when I say teach them how to play the game, like this is the kind of tactical stuff, and then they got it, and then they can go off and do that and make it their own and adjust it as they need it. But they get how to do it.
Yeah, I love it. Oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
mean, I know I need to wrap up, but I don't want to. There's one thing I have to say though, because there was this, and with every conversation I have lately, if it's the AI topic isn't kind of central to the
Yep.
conversation, it comes
Yep.
up at some point. And when it came up, I thought you were also talking about like other technology that
Hmm.
can you can be used to teach people and help the mentoring process that isn't a direct human
Hmm.
one-to-one, right, interaction.
Hmm.
And it's so true. It's like everything you're saying is like there's the I just say keep it real, right? Like the
Yep.
human, your ability as the mentor to like sense and spot
Yep.
patterns and like kind of listen and really curiously get to know this person. I'm from both sides, right? Like get to
That's right.
know, and then teaching them that that's what they're doing when they reach out to other people. That is such a human
It's human.
thing. And so like your mission to give people structure and training, but to still keep it human, right? Like, but I'm like, I use AI every day. I've been training models
Me
since
too.
2018. I'm a huge fan. I can't say but at the same time, if you care a lot about the outcome and you have a lot of stake in the outcome and you have passion, then you've got to be involved as the human. Like you cannot completely, like there's just certain things that technology
Yep.
and AI cannot pick up on.
Yeah.
Nuance, the magic is in the nuance. I went to my best friend's brother just wrote a book. It's called American Men. And he is on his book tour, and he came to Cincinnati last night, and he was talking.
Nice.
The book is like basically about, looks at like vulnerability and masculinity in America, and he like follows these four men and intimately like gets to know them, and they all have these stories. Anyway, they all have like, what, for lack of a better word, kind of some damaged, like trauma in their past. I don't want to call them damaged, but like somebody asked a question of him during the Q&A, like because he interviewed a lot of guys and then narrowed it down to these four for the focus of his book, right? And it's the story of these four men. And one of the questions this woman asked him, she's like, I'm trying to find the right word. She said, like, she was like, kind of like how you picked the four guys, that were, I mean, was it like damaged? Like that you like were more interesting, and he basically, his response was like, I mean, I had to feel it out as I went. And it's kind of writer's choice. I mean, ultimately I'm writing a book, and, I want them to have very interesting stories, and that kind of thing. And then the next question as a segue from that one was, well, like, how did you get them to open up to you, considering they had some serious trauma in their past? And everyone, like, you're going to lean in and wait for he's like a journalist. He's like written for major magazines. Like he's like, he has a lot of expertise in interviewing. Right. And, we're kind of waiting for like the magic bullet of, how you interview someone. And he said, well, I think that they knew that I wanted to listen. He's like, and I think it was my genuine curiosity. Like,
Right.
I got them to go deeper, primarily because somebody really wanted to hear it and take the time. And I just was so curious about it. And that in itself, that's it. It's not something else, everyone. It's like, he's the one
Because I care.
who's writing this book and is going to tell these stories and wants to have this amazing piece that he creates from this. So therefore he knows, like, he has this like ulterior motive, but he also just genuinely like wants to get to the nuggets. He wants to get to the root of things for them, because he wants other people to get meaning from what he tells from their story. And how do you do that if you're not personally one-on-one with these people? You're not going to hire someone else to come in and do it for you. You have to talk to them. I say the same thing to my clients when they want to like get deep with like customers, or kind of get some new insights or nuances, and they want to hire someone to do all that interviewing. I'm like, or worse, like have a AI moderator do it. I'm like, no,
Yeah. Right.
you have to talk to your customers.
Yep.
You do it.
Yep.
You do
Totally.
it one-on-one. I just went on a
They're using
tirade, but
AI
like
to
something that I just
customer
happened to go to
discovery.
this book event last night, and he said that,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, because he wanted to really listen. That's
That's
it.
it. That's it. It's so important. That sounds amazing. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I'll send you. I think you
Yeah.
would like it. I haven't
Sounds
read the book
good.
yet, because I would like, he was in town. I went with her, and I know that his book just came out, and I've got a signed book now. So his name is
That's
Jordan
cool.
Ritter Kahn. He's amazing person. It was like a really cool night.
Yeah.
And then I'm over here writing down ideas from like my own business, and all of this vibe of like listening and curiosity and keeping it human and spotting like meaningful stories. Like, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And now my poor listeners who are like, now she's off on talking about some book event. Like, sorry, everybody.
Oh, this has been so much fun.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you.
so fun. I mean, I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Like, I think it's so needed.
Yeah,
Everybody, it's so needed.
it's great. It truly, it feels like a gift. To your point, honestly, I don't take for granted that, in a mentor-mentee relationship, the mentee has to let you in, and I'm always very grateful they do. And it is about trust and caring and all the things. So it's pretty neat to be able to spend my time this way.
Well, you genuinely, your genuineness comes so across. I can only imagine. I mean, like, can you mentor me? I mean, I'm not of college age,
I
but
think you're good.
we all need one. I don't know. I might seem good. Anyway, all right. Okay. So if people want to reach out to you or find out more about, this training program, I think other schools should, or anyone who wants to just like swap some ideas on, being a better mentor,
Oh man.
get a hold of you.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm on it kind of pretty religiously. So if you do Ann Jones on the team, you'll find me. I don't have a hat on, so that just don't let that throw you in my bio, in my profile picture. But And then on the team.co, there is like a learn more button that will basically connect you through to an email if you want. But yeah, I'd say LinkedIn, send me an invite, send me a message. I'm always happy to talk. I just always learn from people. So appreciate the opportunity to do this today.
Yeah. All right. Everybody should reach out to Anne. Everyone. Quantity.
Bring it. The more the better.
So bring it on. And it's Anne with an E, right?
Yes.
Anne,
Annie.
Anne Jones. Okay.
Mhm.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the time. And we talked longer than I thought we would. So thanks for the extra time. It's been
I
so
love it.
fun. I hope everyone that listens has some fun, as much fun as we're having. We're having fun. So is that all that matters?
At least we got that.
Yeah. Okay. So closing out for everybody listening, the show is brought to you by the Vibe Method. You can learn more about that, the method of nailing a unique story for your new product or marketing at gohunch.com. And I always leave everyone with one thing that I'm going to leave with, I'm going to say one thing at the end that I always say, which is the worst thing you can do with a hunch in business or life is ignore it. Doesn't mean you have to follow it, but don't ignore it.